This video is sponsored by Pro Writing Aid. More about them later in the video. Most authors put all their energy into their book's core idea, whether that's the plot for fiction or the core promise for nonfiction. They often believe their work is already exceptional, that any flaws are either non-existent or too minor to even matter. In other words, they're convinced they've already perfected it. But reader behavior research shows that's not the case. Readers complain just as often about how a book is written as they do about its content. When ratings drop and reviews are abysmal, it's often about how the book is written, not the idea itself. A 2025 study published through the Association for Computational Linguistics analyzed hundreds of Goodreads reviews from recently published books. It found that readers judge books on writing clarity and execution just as much as on plot or ideas. At the same time, a 2025 study from the University of Florida and University College London found that reading for pleasure has declined over 40%, making today's readers more selective and less patient with friction. I'm laying out 5 editing mistakes that quietly kill 5-star reviews, ordered from common to catastrophic, and how to fix them before you publish. Side note, everything I'm showing you here you can actually access through Pro Writing Aid's free plan. This covers grammar and spelling checks, style suggestions, and the built-in thesaurus. Limited reports are also available on up to 500 words at a time, including repeats, readability, consistency, and more. Try Pro Writing Aid free on your own writing today when you visit dalelinks.com/free Pro Writing Aid. That same link also gets you 10% off if you upgrade to the annual premium or premium pro plans. Again, that's dalelinks.com/free Pro Writing Aid. Flow issues happen when the writing technically works, but the pacing feels off. Nothing's broken per se, but the reader slows down without realizing why. This usually comes from sentences that all hit the same rhythm and length or go on longer than they should. Here's a paragraph that isn't wrong, but it absolutely drags. John walked into the room. Stopped. He looked around. The room was quiet. It was very quiet. He noticed the desk. The desk was old, had scratches on it. Scratches were deep. He thought about sitting down. He did not. Stood there. Nothing happened. So I'm inside my Pro Writing Aid dashboard here on their website, but keep in mind that all these features are going to be available whether you're using Microsoft Word, you're going on their website, using Outlook, on any number of browsers. It's still going to function the same. It's still going to have all these features. Now, knee-jerk reaction for a lot of people is going to be like, hey, I've got some issues here, so let me just run the real-time report, and that's fine. However, when it comes to flow issues, there's a specific report that we can just dive right into. Now, I'm going to hit pacing here. It's underneath fiction, and you will see automatically one slow pacing paragraph. John walked, slow pacing paragraph, and of course, we could already see, based on this hyperbole, that this is not going to work out. So there are some instances where some people want the easy button, but we'll have to sit here and just troubleshoot some of this. And what I'm going to think about is saying, okay, John walked into the room, he stopped, he looked around. The room was quiet, it was very quiet. To me, I feel like we can probably say this so much cleaner. And so I kind of played around with this. John walked into the room, then stopped and looked around. The room was quiet, almost too quiet. He noticed an old desk with deep scratches. Though he thought about sitting down, he didn't because he was waiting for the inevitable. Nothing happened. So this kind of cleaned it up a lot better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this paragraph. Let's run it back through the pacing report and let's see if it comes back. Boom. We're good to go. Now, we could probably go in here and tweak it up just a little bit more, but you could see that what it did was it identified a problematic area where we could make it flow so much better. Awkward sentences force readers to reread a line, not because it's deep, but because it feels clumsy or cluttered. The sentence technically makes sense, but the overall structure gets in the way. This is the kind of sentence that causes that problem. Due to the fact that Maria was feeling an overwhelming sense of exhaustion that had been caused by the long day she had experienced, she found herself deciding that perhaps it might be a good idea to consider resting. For awkward sentences, we're going to go ahead and use the style report, and it's going to give us a complete rundown of some of the problematic areas and ways that we can fix this. Now, the beautiful part about this sentence is you can already see it's highlighted a few of the items here, including, of course, one of my favorite things, passive verbs. Love it. All right, so here's what we'll do is we'll pick it apart one piece at a time, and I'm going to save the passive verb for last because it's going to probably suggest a rewording. So because Maria was feeling overwhelmed, okay, so, and she decided, instead of saying found herself deciding, we're just going to go ahead and switch it to decided. That perhaps it might be a good idea to consider resting. Okay, so let's take a look and see what its recommendations are for rephrases, since that is a passive verb. Since Maria felt overwhelmingly exhausted from her long day, she decided to consider resting. I don't like the decided to consider. So that's just a taste, and that's what it's going to come down to is you can't let pro writing aid do all of the decisions for you. You're going to need to make that decision on your own. Maria, exhausted by her long day, decided that resting might be a good idea. I love it. I love it. It punched that sentence up so much more. Granted, it chipped away a lot of words, but as you can see, there was just a lot of filler here. So here's what we're going to do is we're going to run it right back through style again and see how it comes out. And boom. We're good to go. Everything is 100% here. We could probably punch it up if we want to, but I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. Repetition. Oh boy. I'm the king of repetition, and Pro Writing Aid has practically retrained me to pick out these redundancies. Essentially, when the same words or ideas pile up too close together, it creates a lot of friction for readers, whether conscious or subconscious, of course. The author misses it because it feels natural while drafting, but the reader can feel the drag immediately. Though a bit hyperbolic, this paragraph shows you exactly how that happens. The report was important. It was an important report for the team. Everyone knew how important the report was. Because the report was so important, the team treated the report with importance and focused on the important details inside the report. For repetitive language, we have two different reports we can choose from. All repeats and echoes. So what I'll do is I'll hit all repeats, and then it's going to give me a breakdown of the repetitious phrases and words that we have here. And you can see it's an egregious level. We can go into echoes and we'll probably get a very much same report here. So what we need to do is figure out, okay, how do we go ahead and make this a lot simpler? So what I'll do is I'll walk this back just a little bit. Looking at it, so what I've done is I've compacted these 3 sentences down to 2. We can probably get it down to 1, but I feel for pacing's sake here, this might actually work. The report was crucial to the team. Because of its importance, everyone concentrated on its key details. So this reads a little bit better. We could probably massage it out a little bit more if we wanted to, but you can see that the redundancy has been removed. So let's go ahead and we'll delete this out here. Let's run those reports again and let's see how they come back. Great. No repeats, no echoes. I'm 1000% guilty of this infraction many times over because my mood from one writing session to the next affects my tone, making my writing inconsistent. One moment the writing is formal and polished, and the next it's casual and conversational. That kind of shift spoils the reading experience real fast. Here's a paragraph where that mismatch shows up clearly. The data clearly indicates a statistically significant decline in user engagement across all tracked metrics. Honestly, this whole thing was kind of a mess and everyone could feel it. The numbers were disappointing, but hey, sometimes stuff just happens. Inconsistent tone is going to require more of an eagle eye here. There's no specific tool that supports inconsistent tone, but there are a number of tools that will help you figure that out once you have spotted it. So for this right here, I typically will find any inconsistent tone by going through with text-to-speech where it's read to me, or I will read it aloud. And that's why I do that a lot when I'm going through my second or third pass. That way I can hear how it sounds. And you'll hear that shift from formal to informal or vice versa. So what we're going to want to do is look at each one of these sentences. So we can see that the first sentence is very like by the book. It is super formal. The data clearly indicates a statistically significant decline in user engagement across all tracked metrics. And then we go over into emotions. Honestly, this whole thing was kind of a mess and everyone could feel it. The numbers were disappointing, but hey, sometimes stuff just happens. Yeah, I mean, you could see that shift. Is it forgivable? Possibly, but it doesn't make for a good reading experience because you're not really sure like what's going on. So let's go ahead and clean this up. I'm going to use style to clean this one up a little bit. And you can already see it's highlighting some issues, picking those things out. The first thing I want to do is I'm going to isolate this very first sentence to match the second sentence. And the reason why I'm going to do it that way, I'm great at writing informal. When it comes to formal, I'm not so good at that. And considering the tone of that specific sentence right there, I'm not going to be able to do those next two sentences as formal. Okay, so I went ahead and played around with this. Engagement dropped across the board in the numbers. Great, fantastic. We've cleaned this up a little bit more. It's a little less nerdy and feels a bit more informal. So let's go ahead and clean up those other sentences. And the beauty is it already highlighted one of these things. It says suggest rephrase. And of course, we can go through some of these rephrases. Everyone sensed the chaotic and disorganized nature of the situation. The general atmosphere was undeniably disorganized, a fact palpable to all present, and it was abundantly clear to everyone that the situation had devolved into disarray. Now, this is one of those instances where I feel like in my gut, those were pretty good, but I almost feel like I can probably dial this in on my own with some of those suggestions it gave me. Okay, so now the paragraph's done all together. It's more informal tone here. Engagement dropped across the board in numbers. Honestly, the whole thing felt messy, and everyone could tell it was off. The results were disappointing, but sometimes things do not go the way you expect. A lot cleaner, kept the same tone. But here's what we're going to do is we're going to close out this other paragraph, and I'm going to run that style report again just to kind of see if we're good. And excellent, comes back completely clean. Now, if we really wanted to be extra cautious, we could always run the real-time report and then choose the genre we're going for on this one. We'll just say this is general nonfiction for the heck of it here. And you can see sentence variety kind of stuck me on that as well as glue index. We could just go in here and select this, and it'll be able to tell us where we could probably tighten up on things. But considering that this is a lot tighter and it's got a better consistent tone in it, I think this is good to go. Confusing prose creates a complete disconnect with readers because they do not understand what's happening or why it matters. Overall, the ideas feel jumbled, important details feel missing, and the logic jumps around without any clear connection or cohesiveness. This problem is different from sentences that feel cluttered or awkward. Clutter might slow a reader down and force them to reread, but they usually understand it. Confusing prose goes further by not just slowing the reader down, it brings them to a full stop. Once that happens, readers lose trust in the writing and stop caring about what comes next. Your book goes into their DNF pile and you're out of luck. This sentence is a good example of that problem. After reviewing the proposal, which was submitted following the meeting that occurred prior to the deadline that had originally been discussed but later adjusted, the decision was made to proceed in a way that reflected those earlier considerations. Confusing prose tends to be a bit more problematic because sometimes it's our work. It's right in front of us at all times. So how could it be confusing? We understand it, but the readability report is the thing that really helps kind of tie things together because we'll be able to identify those hard to read paragraphs based on these scores here. It's saying, dude, this is way too hard to read. So what we want to do is we've got to break this thing down. If that means taking an entire paragraph and clipping it up into chunks, into smaller sentences, then all the better. Or if we can just take one sentence that can bring this all together in a clear fashion, that's what we're going to want to shoot for. So having this score does help, but it's going to be on you to figure out, okay, how do I fix this so it's a lot clearer? So this is going to probably take several minutes for me to go ahead and take care of this, but I'll be back in half a second. Okay, after numerous iterations, at this point, I've come down to just a single sentence for this one. After the meeting and revised deadline, the team reviewed the proposal and moved forward. We could have broken this up into maybe 2 or 3 sentences, but I felt like this was the clearest way to communicate. Obviously, this is going to be very subjective. When you're writing, you're not going to really be too sure, like, oh, is this the right direction? But the beautiful part is, these readability reports, we're just going to go ahead and run that thing again. So I got rid of the original paragraph. Let's run it again, and boom. If for some reason it comes back that it's hard to read or very hard to read or kind of hard to read, then we'll be able to go back through and just keep tweaking it. And for this one right here, this was probably a slam dunk victory pretty fast. So there's going to be some instances where you're going to have to take a little bit extra time to go through and fix these things. You're not going to have an immediate answer, but at least you have the skeletal work of a sentence, of a paragraph that you can work from and figure out how can I say this in a more clearer fashion. Give ProWriting 8 a shot for free when you visit dalelinks.com/freeprowriting8. And remember, if you upgrade later, they'll hook you up with 10% off annual plan just for using my link. Want to see the one powerful editing tool I didn't even cover today? Recently, Joe at Pro Writing Aid did a full walkthrough of the manuscript analysis report, and trust me, it's a game changer. I literally don't publish a book without it now. So check it out over here, and I'll see you then.